Bracha is Daf Chof Aleph. We learned that a Balkari who must say something midoraisa, such as Kriya Shema or Birkas Hamazon, he has to think it in his head. Whereas Shemona Esrei, which is only the Rabbanon, he doesn't think it at all. How do we know that Birkas Hamazon is deraisa? It doesn't get any more clear than this. It says in the pasuk, "Ve'ochalta," you eat, "V'savata," and you're satiated, "Uve'rachta," and you say Birkas Hamazon. Birkas HaTorah, it says that Moshe Rabbeinu said, "Ki Shem Hashem Ekra," I'm going to announce Hashem's name, and Klai Yisrael is going to say Amen, and then from there we're going to continue to the Shira that is brought down in Parshas Hazinu. From our Mishnah, it seems like that the Birkas Hamoitzi, the bracha you say before eating food, is only the Rabbanan, because it says that you don't have to contemplate at all, you don't have to think about it. Even though we have a Kavachomer going in two directions, that one should perhaps say Birkas HaTorah after you learn Torah, and one should say Hamoitzi before you eat, Kavachomer. If you make a Birkas Hamazon after you eat, so certainly you should make a bracha after you learn Torah. And the same thing in reverse. If you say Birkas HaTorah before you learn, so certainly you should make a Birkas Hamoitzi before you eat. And the answer is, they are not similar at all. Birkas Hamazon comes after you're satiated and you feel good about yourself. So you say Birkas Hamazon. You don't make that bracha prior to eating because you didn't have anah yet. Whereas Talmud Torah, you're saying the bracha because you're about to go into Chayi Olam. This brings you to Olam Haba. So you say it prior and not after. Rav Yehuda holds, unlike what we learned up until this point, that Kriya Shema is only midrabanan, and therefore, if a person has a suffix whether he said Kriya Shema or not, he doesn't repeat it. It's only the Rabbanan. Whereas the brachas of Kriya Shema, v'yatziv, it's deraisa, and therefore, if a person has a suffix whether he said v'yatziv, he has to repeat it. What does he do with the famous pasuk that we said from the beginning, the first daf in brachas? B'shach b'chov kumecha teaches us that you're supposed to say Kriya Shema when you get up, when you go to sleep. He says no, B'shach b'chov kumecha is referring to Talmud Torah. The chiyuv of learning Torah is in the night and in the day, but not for Kriya Shema. From our Mishnah, we see that a Balkari doesn't make a bracha after eating. So l'chayra, or after Kriya Shema, that is. So you see l'chayra that it's only midrabanan, and the answer is no. You don't see anything from our Mishnah because we're talking about the person said Kriya Shema, and in Kriya Shema he already mentions Yitzias Mitzrayim. And Kriya Shema is stronger than V'yatziv because it has Ol Malchus Shamayim and Yitzias Mitzrayim, and that's why he says Kriya Shema. Rav Lazar says no. Kriya Shema is Doiraisa. Therefore, if a person has a suffix whether he said Kriya Shema or not, he has to repeat it. Shemona Esrei, which is the Rabbanon, that he doesn't repeat if he has a suffix. If a person has a suffix, says Rabbi Yochanan, halavai, he should daven all day long. In other words, he could repeat a Shemona Esrei all day, and in fact, that's the halacha. What about if a person knows that he says Shemona in and he catches himself in the middle of Shemona Esrei? Says the Gemara that if a person is davening Shabbos Shemona Esrei, he's on Shabbos and he's davening Shemona Esrei, all of a sudden he feels a punch on his chest. He realizes, "Oi, I'm saying Slach Lona, I'm in the middle of saying weekday Shemona Esrei." What does he do? The halacha is that he could finish the bracha. What is the reason? The reason is because in reality, we should be saying Shemona Esrei of the weekday on Shabbos, and in addition to that, add the brachas of Shabbos. But because of the tircha of the tzibur, Chacham said you don't say Shemona Esrei. So therefore, if he finds himself saying a bracha of regular weekday Shemona Esrei, he finishes it off. Whereas a person who realized that he already said Shemona Esrei, and now he's saying it for the second time, if he's in the middle of a bracha, he stops right there where he is, and he doesn't finish because he has no chiyuv to say it. Afal Pikain, nevertheless, if a person comes into a shul, he daven b'yichidus, he comes into the shul and he finds the tzibur davening Shemona Esrei, he could say Shemona Esrei again as long as he shows that it's a tefillas and dava, meaning he adds to each of the middle brachas, he adds something of his own and makes it personal. If a person comes into a shul, and this is halach l'maaseh, he comes into the shul, and he finds the tzibur davening Shemona Esrei, what should he do? Well, this is machlokes. According to Rav Huna, if he could finish Shemona Esrei before everybody gets to, the chazan gets to Moedim, then he should start Shemona Esrei and finish. Because the problem is, you don't want to be davening Shemona Esrei while everybody bows and does Moedim, because then it looks like you don't agree to the Moedim. But according to Rav Chizda, he has to be able to finish his Shemona Esrei before everybody gets to Gedusha. And the machlokes is whether a person can say Gedusha by himself or not. So we, the paskin, that a person can't say Gedusha by himself, l'chayra comes out that he should be able to finish Shemona Esrei before everybody gets to Gedusha. Now, according to everybody, while you're saying Shemona Esrei, you cannot stop for Gedusha and Baruch etc. There's a machlokes whether you could stop in the middle of Shemona Esrei to say Amen Yehei Shmei Rabbah. According to Rabbi Yochanan, you could. We don't pass in halacha like that. Taisus brings down that today we think about it. Shemei Ka'ina. Taisus asks a question, then it comes out that you are saying it. You should look in Taisus and see the halacha. A Baal Keri is asur to learn Torah. How do we know it? From the concept called smuchim, since there's a pasuk in regard to Baal Keri that's next to a pasuk that says the isser of learning Torah, so we make the connection, it's asur to learn Torah. Rabbi Yehuda doesn't learn the concept of smuchim in all of the Torah, besides in Chumash Devarim. How do we know that? And the smuchim that the Tanakama learns, in this parasha, Rabbi Yehuda learns it to say that whoever teaches the son Torah, it's as if he accepted the Torah from Har Sinai. When it comes to a machashef alei a witch, you can't keep alive. So we learn it, the misa that she has, beskilo, we learn from a behema. And Rabbi Yehuda learns it from Ovi Yedonim because he doesn't learn the concept of smuchim. Yet, when it comes to Chumash Devarim, he does learn the concept of smuchim. There's a machlokes whether a person who's not allowed to marry his father's wife, he's allowed to marry his father's anusa. If his father rapes somebody, he's allowed to marry her. According to Rabbi Yehuda, you're not allowed to marry her. And why? Because he learns it from smuchim. It says in the pasuk, Lo yikach ishes eshes aviv velo yigal knaf aviv. Lo yigal, Rabbi Yehuda learns is talking about an anusa. Why? Because the following pasuk talks about an anusa. In the Mishnah it says that there are three people that have zera and they're not allowed to learn Torah. One of them is a Zav, who's not a Baal Keri, who saw Keri. A Nida that was Poilet Zera. And a woman after relations who had Zera, they are not allowed to say Torah unless they go to the mikvah. Rabbi Yehuda holds that they don't have to go to the mikvah. It's mashma. It's only in these three cases that Rabbi Yehuda holds they don't have to go to the mikvah. But what if the person is a Baal Keri without any side effect, any ziva, plita, etc., just a pure Baal Keri? Perhaps he holds that he has to go to the mikvah. The Gemara comes out and says no. At the end of the day, Rabbi Yehuda holds that a Baal Keri is asur to learn Torah. He just holds that when it comes to Birkas Kriya Shema, etc., he made them like Hilchas Derech Eretz. In other words, since they are D'Rabbanan, so you're allowed to say them. Have a wonderful day.